Gerhard Bloom here, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So, tyranny, right? Undoubtedly, you are aware that the FBI raided the home of the previous president, and in all likelihood, the candidate that will be running against the current president, if that current president decides to run. I can't imagine Biden running for president, but in all likelihood, Donald Trump will be running for president yet again. This raid on his home is yet another in the litany of attempts to preclude, to either undermine the presidency of Donald Trump and to get him out of office by fair means or foul, or since he's left, to try and prevent Donald Trump from running for president yet again. This is not an act against the singular individual Donald Trump. This is an act against democracy. People have the right to vote for their candidate of choice. And even before Donald Trump took office, there was concerted effort to undermine his credibility, to poison his reputation, and to slander him with baseless lies and false allegations. Right? The Russian hoax. Donald Trump is colluding with the Russians. The file that the FBI exerted warrants on was handed to them by the Democratic Party, by the Clinton Party, to the FBI. And the FBI knew that the information contained in that file was utterly bogus. The media willfully ignored the evidence. Members of the security services all supported this nonsense, and so that failed, right? That failed. The taxpayer of the United States spent millions of dollars looking through this tissue of lies about Donald Trump, and it has been incessant. This January 6th commission is an absolute kangaroo court. They are trying to prove evidence that the January 6th riot, and it was not an insurrection. You know, you show up in an insurrection, you bring rifles, right? You wear combat boots, you wear rifles, and there's not a lot of selfies being taken. This was not an insurrection. There was nobody charged with weapons offenses. Nobody had a weapon in the Capitol building. Utter nonsense. One person was killed, and that was the unarmed female Ashley Babbitt, who was a former service person, right? Absolutely shocking. And the death of her was just completely swept under the rug, and the media tells you that several police were killed. There was one cop beaten to death with a fire extinguisher. Never happened, right? Utter lies. So, under the pretext that Donald Trump has classified information in Mar-a-Lago, the Justice Department approves an FBI raid on the former president and likely candidate for the future presidency. This is utterly unprecedented, and this is a serious attack on democracy, and it is just inexcusable. We'll see where this goes, but people need to be held accountable. You know who else took documents from the White House? Barack Obama. Yeah, cases of documents. Classified? The President of the United States has unilateral authority to declassify documents, right? So when Donald Trump was president, these here, all of these, yeah, they're unclassified, right? So this was utterly pretextual. The the kangaroo court of January 6th has yet to unearth any significant evidence that Donald Trump tried to steal the presidency and or orchestrate an overthrow. And so there is no doubt in my mind that using this pretext, they got a warrant to raid Donald Trump's residence to look for this evidence they have yet to uncover. Absolutely shameful. And let's look at some other blatant examples of criminal misbehavior that went absolutely uninvestigated or unpunished, right? Sandy Berger, former national security advisor, walked out of the building with classified documents in his socks. Never arrested, never went to jail. No. James Comey, you remember James Comey? He's the one that didn't find evidence of criminal behavior on the part of Hilary Clinton with her classified emails and illegal server, right? Well, he stole FBI documents and was never charged for this. He broke several federal offenses, several federal statutes he broke. Not charged, not investigated, his home wasn't raided. And Hillary Clinton, and in case you weren't aware, she had a server that was unapproved for classified material. She had classified material on her cell phones. And in the midst of an FBI investigation, her staff smashed these phones with a hammer and poured bleach on them. And James Comey didn't find evidence of criminal intent. How is that conceivable? It's absolutely inconceivable. This Justice Department is absolutely unhinged, and the FBI. And this is dangerous. This is dangerous. The United States is turning into a police state. I don't know where this is going to stop. Recently, the Justice Department, because parents were outraged of the poisonous sex and gender ideology that was being taught to their school, to their students, were protesting at teachers' meetings. Well, the Justice Department, at the request of the teachers' unions, had the Justice Department investigate honest, everyday American parents as potential terrorists. Potential terrorists. Now, if you've seen previous videos, you know, I was a military police officer by trade, spent about half my career as a military intelligence analyst. I worked at Canada's Integrated Terrorist Assessment Center. And yes, I met with CIA, DIA, I met with British counterparts, Australian counterparts, and looking at the question of terrorism. And mom and pop at teacher meetings, no, they're not a terrorist threat. Which also reminds me of the slander that Joe Biden made identifying white nationalists as the single greatest threat of domestic terrorism. Nonsense. This poisonous rhetoric needs to stop. And I don't know what Joe Biden knew and when he knew it, but if he is complicit in this, he needs to be held responsible. And certainly Merrick Garland, the fascist that's running the Justice Department, needs to be fired. And the FBI, absolute house cleaning. Absolute house cleaning. In fact, I believe they are beyond redemption. The FBI, as it's currently stood up, needs to be dismantled, and its policing functions and investigative functions need to be shepherded out under other auspices, and the leadership needs to be completely purged, and people need to be investigated. seriously investigated. At any rate, we'll see where this goes. But this is leading to an incredible erosion of trust in the basic institutions of the United States, and very dangerous times. Very dangerous times. I thank you very much for your time. I do hope you'll drop a thumbs up. I hope you'll check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. This leftist ideology, this neo-Marxist ideology, is an absolute cancer. And it is not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important, and I could use your support. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.